Hello, friends. I'm Olivia. I live with my mother. Her job didn't provide a good income, so we barely had enough for food, let alone new clothes or anything else enjoyable within our means. One evening at dinner, my mother was extremely joyful. Olivia, I have great news. Our lives are about to change soon. What's happening, Mom? I met the man of my dreams, handsome, intelligent, wealthy, and most importantly, he loves me very much. That was the most wonderful news I had ever heard. It had always been my wish to see my mother happy, and it was very rare to see her smile. At school, a new student joined our class. Welcome, Adam. He will be in your class from now on. Wow! Did he live in a garbage dump? It was mean, of course, but his clothes were very damaged and worn out, and he also had dark circles under his eyes, indicating severe malnutrition. Everyone laughed, but he sat silently in his chair. In the cafeteria, I saw Adam counting his money. I knew he didn't have enough money to buy a full meal, and I was right because he only bought the cheapest sandwich and sat away from everyone. Hello, you're Adam, right? Yes. I'm Olivia. Do you want to have some fruit? I shared my meal with Adam, and we had lunch and talked a little, and we became friends. Adam was very kind and polite. When I returned home, my mother was looking in the mirror and getting ready to go out. Wow, a new dress. Where did you get this, Mom? I told you our lives would change, my dear. I'm going out with George tonight. You can eat without me, all right? I think there's some food in the fridge. I opened the fridge and was shocked to see a lot of food. We never cooked this much even on holidays and occasions. That made me realize that our lives were indeed going to change. Things were going as usual at school, but when Miss Lammis, our class teacher, entered, she said, "We're organizing a trip to the mountain. Is anyone interested?" I really wanted to go, but the ticket price was $50, and I knew we couldn't afford it. So I didn't care, but when the class ended, I felt a little sad. Hello, honey, why are you sad? I'm fine, Mom. Come on, change your clothes. We've been invited to dinner. That will surely lift your spirits. Oh, wonderful. Who invited us? It's a surprise. You've been getting a lot of surprises these days. We got dressed and took a taxi when the car arrived in an upscale neighborhood. I couldn't stop myself from looking at those wonderful houses around us. We stopped in front of one of them. What a beautiful house. If only I could live here. My mother smiled mysteriously, and then a man walked towards us. Good evening, my dear. Apparently, this is the George my mother was talking about. Hello, you must be Olivia. Nice to meet you. George was very nice, but I still felt a little uncomfortable being surrounded by all this richness. Darling, George and I want to tell you something. Olivia, we love each other and decided to get married as soon as possible. I was surprised but so happy for my mom. We soon moved into George's mansion. My new room was 4 times larger than my previous one, and I became accustomed to eating good food with pocket money and a wardrobe full of brands. But it was strange, because I felt like I was living someone else's life. So I decided to put on my old clothes as usual and go to the school. One day, when I returned, I heard my stepfather, George, speaking in a sharp tone. Honey, I don't want Olivia to go to school in these rags. My mother looked desperate when she looked at me. I'm sorry, George, but I can't get used to all this luxury. It's easier for me to live modestly. You're embarrassing me. What will people think? Relax, my love. Olivia will soon get used to this lifestyle and will dress according to her new condition. Isn't it, my love? Yes, I think so. So I started wearing the clothes George had bought me and going to school in a car with a personal driver. Of course, this did not go unnoticed. Hi, Olivia. Oh, the school star who never even looked in my direction before is now greeting me in the cafeteria. Olivia, you look great today. Sit down with us and let's talk a little. Then I noticed that Adam was sitting far away from everyone, as usual. Thanks, girls, but not today, sorry. Aha! You're too rich to sit with us now. I took the tray and sat in front of Adam. He looked at me strangely and remained silent. I see you bought the cheapest sandwich. Why are you even eating in the school cafeteria and not in a fancy restaurant? I was confused. Is Adam jealous? Then I sighed and decided to tell him the truth. As you know, Adam, a luxurious life is not for me. I endure all this for my mother. I feel that she truly loves her husband. He is a rich man and wants me to act accordingly. But to be honest, I would really like to go back to my old life with my mother. Now I feel like there is a gap between us. I understand this very well, as my father is a very wealthy man. Wow, I wasn't expecting this, but why does you look like this? I had a fight with him and he was sure that I wouldn't be able to live without his money. He said, "You will come crawling, but I will kick you out." I got a job, rented a room, moved to a regular school, and did all that to prove to my father that I didn't need his money to survive. I was very moved to hear Adam's story. It must have been tough to hear that from his father. I couldn't stop thinking about him on my way home. When I arrived, I found myself facing a very horrific scene. "You must do everything the way I want. Don't forget that I am the one who meets your and your daughter's needs." It seems that George and my mother were quarreling. "George, listen. No, you listen. I'm the one making money here, so you have to listen to me. Do you understand? Otherwise, you are free to leave." It turned out that my stepdad was trying to make her feel guilt for being poor. My mother ran to her room crying. I got very angry, and I will not allow anyone to treat my mother this way. So I decided to talk to her as soon as possible. I knocked on her room door. "Mom, this is me." My mother opened the door and tried to pretend that everything was okay. "Hello, my love. I didn't even know you came home. How was your day?" "Mom, I heard everything." "What are you talking about?" "Mom, you will never be happy with someone who insults you and forces you to change the way you live and behave." My mother started crying and told me she was doing this for me. At first, George was very nice and did everything a perfect husband would do. I thought I had finally found the man who would give me and my daughter the life we deserve. But once we moved into his mansion, George became a different person. "Mom, I would rather live in our little house and spend evenings with you than listen to this fool who only loves his money." My mother was surprised when she learned that I did not like our new life. So when George started insulting her again, she said, "George, we need to separate. I want a divorce." We left and closed the door. And that was the end of our comfortable life. I felt happy to return to my small room without any effort. But everyone at school immediately noticed that I had become poor again. "Olivia, where is your wonderful car and personal driver? It seems the rich man kicked your mother out and now she's homeless again." Adam suddenly jumped at that idiot and defended me. "Leave Olivia alone or she'll deal with me." He was so angry that these idiots ran away. "Thank you for defending me." "There is no need to thank me. You are my friend and I hate bullies." "Adam, how about having dinner with us?" "I would really love to. It's been a long time since I haven't eaten home-cooked food." The atmosphere at dinner was great. We laughed and talked like a real family. "Adam, you are persistent. Few people your age would try to live independently. It must be very difficult. I will not lie to you. Things are not always easy, but I will not give up. I'm so happy that you transferred to our school and we became friends." Suddenly, the doorbell rang. It was George, my stepfather, and he was laden with gifts and lots of roses. "My love, I feel miserable without you, so let's start over." My mother hesitated a little. Suddenly, George noticed Adam's jacket and asked, "Do you have guests?" "Hello, George. This is Adam, my classmate." They looked at each other without saying anything. "What's going on? Do you know each other?" "Unfortunately, yes, this is my disrespectful son." "You have to go home immediately. You look like a beggar." "What if one of my acquaintances sees you?" "I want them to know that your son cannot bear to hear your countless criticisms. He even prefers to live in poverty." They were very angry with each other. So we had to intervene, otherwise there would have been a disaster in our house. "That's enough, George. You're really crazy and arrogant. Your big money has no meaning if you don't have love family support. My daughter is right. You will never be happy until you realize that." My stepfather left and closed the door angrily. My mother told Adam he could live with us and he agreed. He soon found a better job than distributing leaflets on the street. Meanwhile, my mother finally got a job that matched her studies not far from home. We bought new clothes and started renovating our apartment, and we were very happy. Because I was 16 years old, I decided to help my family as well by working as a waitress in a cafe. We were having dinner together when the doorbell rang. It was George again, but he wasn't laden with gifts and flowers. He looked helpless and sad. I saw you spending time together. You really seemed like a real family. I had never experienced this before, and I realized that my money does not and will not bring me happiness. My dear son, my beloved wife, and you, Olivia. I'm sorry, I really want to spend the rest of my life with you. Forgive me if you can. In fact, none of us were expecting that. Do you think Adam and Mom should forgive George and give him a second chance? Tell me in the comments.